Welcome back, everybody, to another segment of the K12 Sports Tech AD Think Tank on the Educational AD Podcast. We're going to be right back with this week's Think Tank guest, but as always, we're going to give a shout out to our sponsors. Now, these are all companies that I used as an AD, including K12 Sports Tech. They're all great companies. I really recommend that you use them. So listen to our shout outs, then listen to our Think Tank guest, and then go and visit these sponsors. I'm telling you, you're going to be glad you did. We want to say thanks to K12 Sports Tech for sponsoring the Think Tank. K12 helps athletic directors and sport vendors connect through education and through hands-on consulting services. Athletic directors are also invited to join the K12 Sports Tech AD Think Tank and help influence how companies shape their tech to better serve high schools. To get started or to find out more, just go to K12sportstech.com. That's K12sportstech.com. We also want to thank our good friends at Home Campus. Home Campus is the official high school sports administration platform for a number of states and thousands of athletic directors, and it's a platform you're going to use every single day. Even if your state has a different platform, you can be a Home Campus school, and I'm telling you, the features, especially the athletic clearance and eligibility platform, you got to see it to believe it. To find out more, just go to homecampus.com. That's it. Homecampus.com. We also want to say thanks to Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. Athletic directors already get feedback, but a lot of times it's from a small group that just wants to complain. Athletic Surveys is going to connect you to that group, but they're also going to connect you to the 98% of your stakeholders that support your program. And having that type of positive feedback is incredibly valuable, especially when you're visiting with your principal or maybe even your school board. Go to athleticsurveys.com. They're going to create a custom survey that lets you take the pulse of everybody in your program. It's athleticsurveys.com. We also want to thank Sideline Interactive indoor score tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com and you can schedule a live web demo to see their products in action. Probably the best purchase I ever made was our Sideline Interactive indoor score table. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. Schedule that live web demo today. We also want to thank Hometown. Hometown is changing the game for athletic directors and schools with their suite of solutions that includes things like, digital ticketing. Of course, they're still the number one digital ticketing provider. But how about fee-free fundraising with School Funder, athletic website construction, and a whole lot more? Go to hometown.com. They're going to help you save time, raise more money, and bring your community together. That's hometown.com. We also want to thank our friends at Gipper. Go to Gipper.com and let their team turn you into a social media marketing guru. Maybe it's just a small social media post to celebrate a victory or an entire newsletter to showcase all the great things that your department's doing. Either way, the team at Gipper will have you up and running in no time. It's professional graphic design made easy. Go to Gipper.com to get started. We also want to thank Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. My assistant AD, along with thousands of others, got his master's through the Ohio program, and while he was doing it, he also completed 11 NIAAA leadership training courses at no extra charge. Check out Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. We want to thank our good friends at Huddle. As a football coach, I used Huddle for years. As an athletic director, I made sure our school was a Huddle school. And our coaches, all of our coaches, along with our student athletes, even our parents, just love the tools that Huddle provided, but there's a lot more. Join the 8 million users. Go to huddle.com. Find out how to turn your school into a Huddle school. We'd like to thank Vital Signs Wall of Fame. If you're looking for a really cool way to display your school record boards for all the teams, for all the different events, or show off your school's Hall of Fame, check out their website and their interactive touch screen. That's right, touch screen video consoles. You put one of their units in your gym lobby or your main school hallway, it's going to be like a magnet for kids, for coaches. How about parents and sponsors? You got to see it to believe it. Go to vitalsignswalloffame.com. You're going to be glad you did. We also want to thank our friends at Snap Raise. If you've ever spent weeks and weeks with a fundraiser and been disappointed in the results, well, those days are gone. Go to Snap Raise. We used it at our school with great success, and so will you. Check out all their other great platforms. But if you're looking for a fundraiser, you just found it, and it's Snap Raise. Welcome back, everybody, to another segment of the K12 Sports Tech AD Think Tank. We're going to Indiana today, and our guest is Joseph Bronkella. He is a certified athletic administrator, and he's the director of athletics at Center Grove High School. We're going to hear all about his school and his background, but Joe Bronkella, welcome to the Think Tank.
Yeah, Jake, thanks for having me.
Well, you and I were talking, before we get started. It's a busy time for ADs. With these segments, we always like to let our listeners have a chance to get to know our guests. So, as I like to say, give us your life story in 90 seconds. We'll let you go a little bit more than that, but where'd you grow up? Where'd you go to school? How'd you get started in this world of athletic administration?
So I grew up in Anderson, Indiana, northeast of Indianapolis. Very when I was growing up, very big sports town, especially in basketball. We had three large high schools. Rivalries were big amongst them. I, of course, went to one of the smaller of the three, so we had a bitter love-hate for each other of all the schools. Ended up going to Anderson University at college. Studied physical education, health, got into coaching. And actually, my first year outside of college, I got asked to be a middle school athletic director. Didn't quite think I was ready for that right then, but was coaching football as well. Did that for a year, and then got an opportunity to go down to Florida to coach football, teach, and coach basketball. So I did that for 2 years. Had kids, kids kind of changed your story. Want to move back to Indiana and be near family. So we got back into Columbus, Indiana, where I was a football coach, I was a basketball coach, I was a baseball coach, I was a track coach, PE teacher, health teacher. I mean, whatever you needed us to do. I was young, and I guess not the word dumb, but I had time to do it while our kids grew up. So was there for 12 years, and then decided that I wanted to try and move to just be an athletic director at a high school. Got down to Madison, Indiana for 5 years and was director of athletics for their high school and their middle school, kind of a dual role. Gave me a lot of opportunities, gave me a lot of games, gave me a lot of levels, and then wanted to move up to a bigger school. Madison graduates about 800 kids. Cedar Grove Open, which is on the south side of Indianapolis, it graduates 800 kids. I'm sorry, Madison has 800 kids. So a different, distinct school size. Came up here. I'm entering my fourth year here at Center Grove. Moved here a little over a year ago. Was kind of doing the commute. My kids, of course, change your story. Stayed in Madison to graduate. They wanted to finish where they started, and then now we're all back together this year or last year.
Well, I just love listening to the stories. We're gonna have to get you on the podcast. Sounds like you got a great journey. I got to ask, what part of Florida were you in?
Okeechobee, just an hour and a half south of Orlando.
I know exactly where Okeechobee is. Drove through there a couple weeks ago. We currently live, my lovely bride and I, we're about half an hour north of Orlando in a community called Tavares. But we taught in South Florida. We taught in the Panhandle. We've been all over. But anyway, yeah, tremendous journey. That first experience that you mentioned, you got the opportunity to become a middle school AD. Daryl Nance, the great AD out of South Carolina, is on the national faculty. He always, one of his favorite comments is many of us become athletic directors when we were too slow to dodge the keys when the principal tossed them at us. Was that your situation, or how did that all play out?
So I got a job out of high school. I'm sorry, out of college. It was the early 2000s, late 90s, and had the opportunity to teach. And I was, like I said, coaching football actually at my rival high school, it really burdened me to wear their colors, but I did. And then to, education was a little bit different then, and they were going through and changing jobs, pink slipping people. And when they said, "Hey, here's a great opportunity to make sure that you have a solidified job,"
Opportunity.
and it was teaching and a full schedule, and then being the middle school athletic director. And anyone that's been a middle school athletic director, they know that teaching a full schedule with it is a pretty tough task. Uh, when the phone calls come in at 8 a.m. and you're middle of teaching classes for athletics, and then you're prepping for a game and you have to wait till the end of the school day, it does pose a challenge, especially when you're in your first year teaching. So was quite a handle. I would tell you, I would be lying if I didn't say that I had very challenging nights to want to return. But long run, I guess it paid out.
All right. Well, again, we are definitely getting you on the podcast. I can't wait to hear what your tools are for a brand new AD. Let's go and talk about the think tank. If you're new to this segment, normally Alec Brown, the COO of K12 Sports Tech, will take over. Um, to make a long story short, K12 Sports Tech is a very unique company in this space. They're going into, I believe, their third year now. And the founder, Abby Emerson, tremendous background in athletics, All American athlete at a little place called Notre Dame. Alec himself was involved in athletics, was an athletic director at a small school. But K12 Sports Tech basically has two arms, I guess, if you will. One of them is it is a networking tool for athletic directors. And we talk about the importance of networking and building your network. It allows you to connect with ADs all over the country. The other arm is still in the area of networking, where, and I believe they're the only business, if you will, that has this feature. They connect vendors with athletic directors. Imagine all the things that you purchase over a year. Oh, geez, over a month sometimes. Those vendors, you get connected directly with them, not for a sales pitch, but to be a consultant. And it can be, if you choose, a paid consultant. These vendors, they want to know, how can we improve our product to make it more functional, more attractive, and more useful for athletic directors just like you. And it's simple if you join the think tank, and it's totally free to join. Go to k12sportstech.com, click on Join Think Tank, and you'll get all the information. Joe, how did you first hear about the think tank, and what are some of the projects that you have chosen? And I want to emphasize, you choose the projects that you want to be involved with. What are some of the projects you've chosen to jump in on?
So I heard about it from another colleague. When anyone that goes to the AD National Conference or the state conferences know of the vendor fair, and definitely still go visit those vendors because they help pay and keep your fees down and all that. But when you walk through, you see all the things that you want to look at and you want to talk to the person to learn about. This is an online way of doing that. So you get to pick your vendors based on what they have opportunities. So he told me about this. He's like, hey, here you get a little bit more in depth, get a little bit more one-on-one, pretty much at your own pace, at your own leisure. And also you can make some suggestions and they pay you for it. And I was like, oh, I really want to investigate this. Now, we don't have a ton of time to do it. So how does that work? Do I have to do it on their time? Oh no, it's 100%. You look at your schedule, you clear out 50 minutes, I think, and you say, hey, I want to learn about your product, or hey, I want to give you feedback. So one of the first ones I did was with Omela, looking at the different, concession purchases, or if you have like in charge of prom, of how you do ticketing and all that, and just learning about their product and then giving them feedback of what we use. We use EventLink and saying, hey, here's the differences. Here's what we like. Here's what we don't like. The good thing is if you want more information, I was talking to a scoreboard person. If you want more information, they will provide it with you, and maybe your corporation goes into that direction if you want to do it. But they're not gonna call you every 5 minutes and say, hey, where are you guys at on this? Where are you at on this? It's more of everything is 100% at your pace. Uh, there's a listing online, so if you want to do a project, They'll you just go to the dashboard and you select which project you want to potentially be selected for and go with. And they're all things that you either want to have interest in for your school. I think that I've had a lot of very good everything I've had has been good. I haven't gone with them. I mean, it's not something that may work for your corporation, and that's fine. It may not work for your school, but it's at least gives you insight to it a little bit more in depth, exactly like when you go to the vendor fairs at those state conferences or national conferences. Plus,
Yeah,
getting some money in your pocket is good too.
no, absolutely right. And you did a great job of hitting all the key points. Once you join the think tank, you'll have access to a dashboard where vendors from their side of things have listed projects that they are seeking feedback from. And you go down that list, and if you see a product that you think you might be using down the road, or just wow, this looks like an interesting product, you click on it, you set up a time, and as Joe mentioned, about 15 minutes. And then when they get in touch with you, it's not a sales pitch. They're asking you, okay, how can we make this more attractive? How can we do a better job? And companies have they've added features. They've lowered their price or come up with multiple pricing options. I love the story. There's one company, they actually changed the name of their company because of the feedback they got from athletic directors. And when you do participate in these projects, like Joe said, you get paid. Okay. So you're not going to be bombarded with cold calls. Your inbox isn't going to blow up with emails. It's truly a win-win. Well, it's a win-win-win because the vendors are winning too. And some of the projects actually include you get a beta test the particular platforms, and then if you like it and they like it, then you're already in, and they give you a discount down the road. Um, Joe, I always talk about the idea of, well, think about who you use right now. You don't have to mention the name. Uh, who do you use right now for uniforms? Okay. You probably used them for a few years. You probably have a great rep. You probably have a great relationship with them. If tomorrow you get a cold call, I saw you shudder, from another vendor supplier, it could be the latest technology, the best uniform. They're going to last for 15 years. The colors, the logos, the numbers, the service, everything is the best ever. If you don't know that product, you're going to be pretty leery about it, I imagine. However, if one of your buddies down the road, who's the athletic director, let's say your rival school, calls you up and says, "Hey, Joe, have you heard about this new uniform company? We just got new uniforms with them and they're great." The product hasn't changed a bit, but now it's got the endorsement of somebody you know. And that's another feature of the think tank through the vendor directory. Members are able to go in and rate, give a 1-star review, a 5-star review to companies that are part of the K12 Sports Tech program. And you, as an AD, now can go in and see those reviews. And so you don't need your buddy from down the road, although that's certainly a great resource. You've got ADs from across the country that have weighed in, and these responses have been vetted. You have to be a member of the think tank to be able to leave responses. So it's not just some schmo, putting a review up there. Um, Joe, that big explanation, long-winded explanation I just gave, does that make sense? That having, a trusted source really makes the difference when you're choosing a product?
I would say 100%. I take the judgment of people that are in my role way more than a salesperson all day. They know what we do, they know how we do it, and they know what we need. So if they call me like, "Hey, I use this product," I'm gonna take that 1,000% before a product I don't know.
Mhm.
And
And
another thing that you're
go ahead.
talking about, 80 Think Tank, when you have that rival buddy down the road, you can refer them to be a part of 80 Think Tank. So maybe the project doesn't work for me, but it works for them, and I know they're looking for it. And that actually worked out for one of our rivals. they got onto one of the projects and they went with their product, so it worked out.
Okay. And that's great for them, but going back to you and our listeners, when you do refer a new member, guess what? You get paid for that too as well. So it's four wins. It's win 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 win. Okay. Um, Joe, it sounds like you do a great job there at your high school. If one of our listeners wanted to reach out, pick your brain a little bit about your program or about the think tank, and just add you to their network, what's the best way that they can do that?
Easily by email. They can get on, email me. I'll help and share with whatever they want. If they're more comfortable with getting on a call, that's fine with me as well.
Okay. And you can find Joe's email and contact information through the NIAAA membership portal. Joe, thanks so much for sharing with the listeners today. Thanks for all the work that you do, within the think tank, helping it make it a more useful platform for ADs. And all the best for a relaxing summer and a great new school year.
Thank you. And thanks again for having me.
Oh, absolutely. And I am going to send you some dates to get you on the podcast. For our listeners, we want to say thanks to you and remind you that we upload the Zoom recordings of all of these interviews to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. We do this segment just about every week, and we try to do best practices and stories from the world of athletics just about every day. If you're interested in joining the K12 think tank, just go to K12sportstech.com and click on the think tank button. Thanks again for listening. We'll see you next time on the Educational AD Podcast. Hey, before we go, of course, we're going to give our sponsors another shout out to K12 Sports Tech. You just heard us talk about it. If you're not a member of the think tank, go to K12sportstech.com. We want to thank Gipper, Vital Signs Wall of Fame, Snap Rays. I want to say thanks to Huddle and Athletic Surveys. I want to thank Hometown. I want to thank Ohio University and their online masters. I want to say thanks to Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. And we'd like to thank Home Campus. Thanks again for listening. We'll see you next time on the Educational AD Podcast.